Well, yesterday we took jet skis out, trying to get used to the Fish Pro. And that's my jet ski, and this is Sadie's jet ski. She's got a 1989 or 1998 XL760. This is one of those. This was kind of our first jet skis we ever bought. And she likes her jet ski, so we just go ahead and kept it. It's had a rough life. I basically got this jet ski given to me when I bought mine. This one needed work, and we knew it when we bought it. But to get it running, it took me 15 minutes, a little bit of tinkering. Nothing was major wrong with it. And it was fine. We haven't used it for about a year. So yesterday we decided to go ahead and take them out. Hers started fine, idled fine, did great when we started taking off. And then after we played around for 20 minutes, she couldn't go faster than 14 miles an hour. It just would not rev up. And it's always had a little problem whenever she mashed the throttle all the way, would bog down. Which was no big deal because she always just kind of accelerated slow and it was fine. I'm going to go ahead, since 14 miles an hour obviously isn't fast enough, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can find the problem. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the carburetors off of this, go through them, get them rebuild them. First I'm going to take them off today and kind of take them apart just to make sure there's nothing majorly wrong with them. There's no use in me buying a rebuild kit for a carburetor that's junk. So that's what I'm going to do today, and we'll see if that fixes it or not. Like I said, once I get it taken apart, I'll at least know it. There could be some crazy settings on it. I may find something really simple, super long, like a vacuum line unhooked or something. But I did change plugs yesterday just to make sure it wasn't that. I did a compression check, and she's got 150 psi on each cylinder, so that's like brand new. You hear in the camera that the old ski, she's got some cracks in her. She's got some wear. She definitely has some fiberglass work done on it. This isn't the original color that this should be, so I'd say someone had a really bad wreck underneath a dock or a boat or something with it. But like I said, for us, especially learning and playing on jet skis,
and it was free.
And when I bought mine, the guy was like, "You can have this one with it." It was on a double trailer. He's like, "You can have this one. It needs some work." Mine was worth what I paid for it. So
now, when he's talking about the one he has, he's not talking about the Fish Pro.
I'm not talking about
the
the Fish Pro.
We've got another one out back.
It's a 98 Polaris. It was a SLXH 1050, which someone has removed that engine and put a 1200 Pro engine in it, and it's actually been built. And that ski is great. It runs great.
It's a racing jet ski. There's no other way to describe it.
And that's it. It is way too fast. And again, it's kind of subjective. It's not comfortable. You can't just sit on it and fish. You're going to fall over.
You can't sit on it and just ride either.
And that's it. Riding, we were on some chop at Lake of the Ozarks, and it was 2 to 3 foot chop. You know, most jet skis, that's fine. Hers runs about 48 miles an hour. I don't know what mine runs. I had it to 72 and I backed out because it was scary. But she could walk off and leave me. I was just nonstop jumping waves. And it just was not a comfortable, relaxing ride. So that's the reason we decided to get the Fish Pro. So it's more suited for us. It's stable. It's easy to ride. I've got the Polaris up for sale. If I don't sell it, I'll come up with a project for that. I know some of you probably watched some of the old Jet John videos. If not, you need to go back and watch the Jet John videos. And that was, I took a jet ski motor and outdrive and put it on a 1648 John boat, and the thing was phenomenal. So we've been talking about doing that with it anyway. And that may be a really good motor and platform to do. It's actually got power trim and plenty of power. So that may be in the future video coming up. But we'll see how it goes. But like today, I'm going to get these carburetors taken off. Well, I'll kind of do some video along the way and talk about what I'm doing as I'm doing it. The carburetors are all down here on the side. And like I said, there's not much room to work, and I've got really large hands, so it's always really tight to get to. But I'm going to go ahead and start by taking this top off and getting to it. And make sure whenever you guys, if you do take one of these apart, most people will know, but don't lose your screws. Don't drop them down in the bay.
We still haven't bought the little magnetic thing or the grabber, have we?
Yeah, I was putting a new battery in the Fish Pro just to make sure we had a good battery, and I, of course, dropped one of the battery screws down on the bottom, and my hands are too big to reach in there and get it, and took 20-30 minutes of finagling around with a wire and a hook. I'll bolt all these. There's a couple here that lock onto the frame. And I'll show you my little tool set here, which I'll highly recommend to anybody. They're $20 to $30 from Lowe's. This has been the handiest set of tools. Add a small extension because it does not come with any extension. So I added a small extension to it and a 9/32 socket. And I don't remember why I put it in there, but I know I needed it 4 or 5 times. So I just went ahead and put a little cheapie in there. But Highly recommend these sets for Lowe's. And again, Cobalt tools for the lifetime warranty. I've actually broken the ratchet a couple times. Plug it back in, they give you a whole new toolkit. When you're doing this kind of stuff, kind of shows you where some lines go and how stuff's routed. In case you take something apart, you forget. It's always good to have pictures. Video works just as good. Because there's a lot of freaking fuel lines on this thing. All sorts of lines, every which direction. Alright, so I got the fuel lines disconnected. They're zip tied, so at least I know which one's tops, which ones are bottoms. All the pulse lines are unhooked. Throttle cable's unhooked here. So they should be ready to pop out of there. Well, they're loose and wiggling, so that's always a good sign. Take some more here and start taking them apart. We'll video that a little bit just to see if I find something wrong. There should be a fuel filter underneath this along with the main jets. So I'm gonna take this apart. And again, I haven't worked on a whole lot of jet ski carburetors. Like any carburetor though, the most important thing is to remember where everything goes for sure and be very clean. So you can see there's a little bit of trash down here in this corner. Everything I've taken apart so far actually has looked really good. The only thing I have noticed so far, I've got two different size jets, one different in each carburetor. It's not a big difference. One's a 135 and one's a 137.5. I wouldn't think that they would do that, but you never know. Maybe one of these was prone to leaning out. Here's a little fuel filter. There's a little bit of junk in there, not much, and not enough to cause a problem. So that's kind of the teardown on these guys. I am going to go ahead and take out some of the fuel screws, check the needles on them, which are these guys here. And if people have never messed with these before, these are what adjust your fuel mixture. Always count your turns in to tight before you take them out, because you don't want to set them back to pretty much exactly where they were. That way your mixture is right. So like right here, I'm going to go ahead and screw it tight first, all the way until it stops. You know, you don't want to cram on it till you break something, but you just want to tighten it up and count your turns. So there's half, 1, half, and 3/4. So 1 3/4 turns in. So now I'll go ahead and unscrew it, and then whenever I put this back together, I'll tighten it all the way down till it's tight, and then back it off 1 3/4 turn, and it'll be in the same spot that what it was. Okay, I got everything taken apart on the carburetors except for the two main jets. Got to pull the main jets out. And now, very important whenever you're moving these brass jets out of here, a lot of times they'll be corroded and stuck in there a little bit. Make sure you have a good screwdriver that fits tight into them. You don't want, a little screwdriver in there that's gonna strip it out. So what I do, and everyone has these, they come in every tool kit. These little bitty short ones, and you can just grind them to fit exactly what you need. Because everyone has these, they come in every kit and almost no one uses them. So like in my toolbox, which I don't even have many tools down here, I have 4 of these. So you just grind them to fit exactly what you're trying to fit. So like I'm gonna remove the little guy here. I just ground it down so it fit in there perfectly tight and snug. And everything, like I said, everything has looked good so far. So I'm kind of torn on what's wrong. So I'm thinking maybe it's something else. I did find the one jet that was different size. It's not that big of a size, so I think just with a little tuning on the carburetor, that could be adjusted out for. And then if there's nothing wrong with the reeds, I'll probably go ahead and put it back together and just try it. And then if there's no improvement, then I'll go ahead and get the rebuild it, or look a little further. But I don't see any problems here. So like I said, 135, 137.5, that's not that big of a difference. That should be able to made up in tuning. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drill the 135 out to match the 137. And how I'm gonna do that, you can actually buy these. These are, this one in particular is actually a cleaning tip for a torch. And what the deal is, like the 137, This drill just fits in, I mean, perfect. There's no play, no move. So now I drilled it out. So now these are the exact same size jets. These are both 137.5s. Got the carburetors all cleaned out. Like I said, I didn't use a rebuild kit on it because I didn't see anything wrong. I'm still probably, if everything runs right or I figure it out, I will rebuild them anyway, just so everything's new. But I'm gonna go ahead and put it back on. I reset all my needle valves, so hopefully it'll make a difference. We'll find out shortly. And if this doesn't do anything, I'll go further. I did put a battery kill switch in because this one will run the battery after a while, so I put this in the other day. So kind of got to do that before I can start it. Sure what happened there.
I don't know at what point I shut it off.
Yeah, we kind of shut the video off there. We kind of had a little emergency. For some reason, it decided to run wide open and would not shut off. And I mean, I pulled the kill switch, wouldn't shut off. And it was running wide open.
Shut the fuel off?
I shut the fuel off. Didn't make a difference. I even got a piece of PVC pipe and I popped the spark plug wires off. It was still running wide open, so it was running like a diesel with no spark. The spark plug wires, like I said, I flung them off. It's still running. And finally, I don't know if it locked up now or what, but it ran wide open.
And we don't think we got enough water into it to save it.
And I was spraying water in with the garden hose, but that's not very good. I was just more than anything trying to keep the pump from dying. But it finally shut off after about a minute, wide open and just balls to the wall going. Not really sure what happened or why. I've never seen that happen before. But it looked like it was working great up to that point. And once I tried shutting it off, and it didn't shut off. So
I am thrilled I was not on it, riding around, and it decided to do that. That might have been a little scary.
The only thing I can think is, like, whether shutting the fuel off is how much fuel were in the lines that it was running. But I still don't understand
why. It ran for a while after I shut that fuel off.
I know, and once I unhooked the spark plug wires, and it was still running, so like I said, it had to be running like a diesel. So.
It probably ran a good 30 seconds after the spark plug wires were done off. We did everything we could think of, and
so
if we'd have ran it in the water, we might have saved the engine, but we don't know that it might still be running wide open. And
I can't say it's a learning experience because I have no idea why I did that.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
But I probably don't have a jet ski anymore.
Good chance of not. At this point, I kind of hate to crank it over because
especially with it being on with the other jet ski.
I think I'm going to unhook the actual fuel lines running to it and see what happens. These are my safety insurance since it ran last time with no spark. What's going on? But this time, if it takes off again, we're going to try to get it on camera.
Smoked less that time.
All right, so yesterday we went out. After I took everything apart, cleaned everything, put it back together, went and tested it out. We got some video of that. It's smoking a whole lot. Still not running right. I did a little research, and everyone's talking about the pop-off valve pressures. So I'm going to check the pop-off valve pressure. I built me a little pop-off valve pressure checker tool. So this way I have about $13 in it. Yes, they do make them. They cost about $30 to $60 depending on which one you get, but this was $13, $14 from Ace. All right, so I've been playing with pop-offs now for a while, and this one here was rather inconsistent. I went ahead and actually, I know it's not the best thing to do, but actually ground the spring off a little bit. And these were kind of both around 48 where they were popping off. I went ahead and took them down to 25. I think it's better to be a little too rich than a little too lean. I'll show you that now. Like I said, they've been fairly consistent. All right, well, now that I got the pop-off valve set on the jet ski, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a try. It's backed in the water. As you can tell from my attire, it's a little chilly today. Definitely won't be taking it for a test drive, but it may take me a minute to get it started, but I'm gonna go ahead and set the camera up here and see what happens. Definitely a lot better than what it was. I'm gonna do a little bit of fine tuning, which I'm not gonna do it today. It's just too darn cold. But it's definitely running a whole lot better than what it was. And the only difference there is just me changing the pop-off valves from 48 psi down to 26. So we'll let it sit there and run for a while, get warmed up. And I don't know. I may adjust with a little bit. It's 40-something degrees. I don't feel like getting my hands wet, but we'll see. Definitely runs better, but it's still getting way too much oil into it. I mean, it's just smoking non-stop whenever I'm running. I can actually see the oil running down the carburetors from the oiler. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete the oil pump. Go ahead and mix the gas. So I went ahead and took the pump off the end there. And for now, what I'm gonna do, there's the oiler there. I just went ahead and zip tied it up. Left all the lines hooked up to it. Just zip tied it up, got it out of the way. And then I made a little block off plate. My gasket was too good, so I went ahead and just cut out a piece of steel. It's about, I don't know, almost a ½ inch thick, but it's what I had laying around. So that'll be my block off plate. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that on. I siphoned the gas out of it. Now go ahead and I'll mix the gas and put the block off plate on and go try it again, see if I can get it to quit smoking so bad. I kept thinking, well, it's running too rich because it's smoking too bad, but that doesn't matter a whole lot when it's oil injected. So I'll go ahead and delete this or let it run for 20-30 minutes, and then I'll see how it looks and go from there. Well, I'm leaving the boat ramp now after trying it after I deleted the oil injection pump, and it definitely runs like a brand new machine now. No more hesitation in it. It's not smoking near as much. Still smoking a little bit, but it is a 2-stroke, so they're going to smoke a little bit. And with it running as rich for as long as what it has, I'd say there's extra oil in the cylinders and that kind of stuff, which that'll eventually clear out a little bit. I'll let it run for 20-30 minutes. Definitely runs much better.